I wanted to give an update on where I've been spending a lot of my time recently, and that's in the area of 91A. I received on May 9th the following right-to-know request. All records, no matter what form, including but not limited to printed documents, electronic documents, emails, or any other form of records regarding and relating to any no trespass orders issued by the town manager and/or the Londonderry Town Council for the town of Londonderry for the last 20 years, 1/1/2003 to 1/1/2023, and that entailed 4 hours of my time. 2 hours of my time, 2 hours of IT time, and ultimately 8 video files were produced. I received a request on 5/5/23. I would like to request accounts payable invoices and general ledger details for expenditures made by the town of Londonderry to Sheehan Finney for any services relevant to A, no trespass orders, and B, advising Mr. Malaguti on the town's reorganization plan. Requested date range for the second item is any expenses between 2/1/23 and 4/30/23 to include any April incurred payables processed during the month of May. That I acknowledge, taking 0.2 hours of my time. And
Excuse me, Mike?
yes,
Hey, Mike,
Yes.
you're talking about these 91As.
yes,
Could you please let us know who's filing the 91As?
certainly, Councilor
Thank you.
Butler. With respect to the first request that I referenced, that was filed by L. Gandia. The second request that I filed, that I reacted to, was filed by J. Esposito. And as I said, that entailed 0.2 hours of my time to acknowledge that, receive it, and process it. I expect that will take a heavier lift in order to fulfill it ultimately. On 5/5, I received another request from J. Esposito. I would like to request documents sufficient to establish communications between the New Hampshire ACLU and the town of Londonderry to include Sheehan Finney regarding no trespass orders for multiple citizens. Requested date for this correspondence and records request is 5/4/23. That took me a quarter of an hour to respond to, and I produced 8 pages of material. On 4/21/23, I received a request from K. Coyle. All emails and text messages exchanged between Town Councilor John Farrell and Town Manager Mike Malaguti. The time period of this request can be limited to December 1st, 2022 to April 21st, 2023. That took 12.5 hours to process. And just for reference, Mr. Chairman, 977 pages of material was produced. At my hourly rate, based on a 40-hour work week, that cost the town $781. Had I sent it to Sheehan Finney, as most towns would have been required to do, it would have cost, depending on the hourly rate of the billing attorney, between $3,400 and $5,000.
Question, Mike.
Yes.
That individual, are they representing anybody?
The indication was that he was representing a client.
Okay.
Beyond that, I don't know the answer to that.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Chair, so we're looking about, and this is for the past 2 weeks?
So this takes us back to 4/21.
Okay. So far, and you said the one that .2 was just research and response, but that'll be a heavy lift. So currently, we're looking at 17 and a half hours. And as you indicated, at your billable rate, $781, when it could be between $3,400 and $5,000, correct? Did I hear you correctly?
You did, and I just want to clarify that this isn't money that the town's actually paying me on top of my salary. It's just a representation of
Works.
hours
How
worked.
you're spending your time.
Correct.
Thank you.
And I neglected to mention that the most recent request that I just mentioned, the 977 pages, it looks like that.
And just to confirm, we will always adhere to the state law for 91A requests.
We've been complimented on it by some of the individuals who have been making these requests in the past. In my practices, have not changed over the time that I've been representing the town or serving as town manager.
Great, thank you.
Hey, Mike, are we charging for copies, or is it going electronic?
Our current practice is to send everything electronic, and that's something that we've been complimented on. I will tell you that based on the volume of requests and the municipal resources that I've had to devote, I am considering proposing changes to that practice. But for the time being, we're adhering to it, and it's something that I think has assisted us in the past in being as transparent, as responsive as possible.
Accessible.
Accessible, correct.
So what people need to understand, all, all those pages there, when someone asks for something that is between the town manager and I, they're talking about, when he said something to the town council, town manager, and so includes all those as well. Includes all legal correspondence, which then has to be stopped and redacted. So many hours have to be spent going through, so it's not a matter of just printing them off. Gotta go through them one by one.
That's exactly right, Mr. Chairman. I think I spent something like between 2 and 4 hours printing off emails from my inbox, and then the redaction process that you referenced. It's definitely a heavy lift.
The original request was for a year, and it was changed to just that period.
I don't recall what the original request was specifically, but I recall that it was vastly broader.
Okay.
Correct. Mr. Chairman, I'll do a couple more of these just so that you can continue to have a flavor, and then I'll get to the bottom line. J. Esposito, 426 of 23, documents sufficient to establish who at the town hall initiated, authorized a no trespass stay-away order for citizens Laura Gandia and Chris Gandia. All correspondence between the town manager, town council, and police department regarding both stay-away orders. Copies of records regarding document service, delivery of the order to the citizens, including any cooperative effort with other PDs. Documents sufficient to establish a proposed expiration date, withdrawal date, if any such exists. Requested range 2023-02-01 to 2023-04-25. And I took an hour of time and produced 7 documents. Mr. Chairman, I have this log going back for the requests that have arrived either in my office or required my significant attention going back a year. There are, interesting requests that involved the Lions Hall last summer that took, a significant amount of time. There were, a variety of topics. But the bottom line is this, Mr. Chairman. As Councilor Butler pointed out, every citizen is entitled to avail themselves of this law. I'll come back to the point that I made and amplify it in a minute, but we've been regularly complimented on how quickly we respond to these requests and how seriously we take them. But the bottom line is this, Mr. Chairman. A conservative estimate, I believe, of time, municipal resources, specifically my time, devoted to all of this over the past year, 151.75 hours. That's $9,484 at my salary rate. Had we had to send this out to legal counsel, it would have cost between $41,700 and $60,580. Again, everybody is entitled to avail themselves of this law, but it is not without a cost to the taxpayer.
Mike, how many hours again?
151 and some change.
0.95.
And as I pointed out, Mr. Chairman, it's interesting to hear some of the discontent with how things are going, specifically with regard to accessibility, access, and 91A. I have an email here from someone who spoke tonight, May 11th, 2022. Thank you for all, this is addressed to me, thank you for all you do. You are a true asset to the community. Your hard work is appreciated. And that person was not, speaking favorably of how things are going. I have another email, May September 26, 2022, by someone who also spoke tonight and was not, speaking favorably about how things are being handled at the council level and town manager level. Appreciate you as always, is the statement. I have another email here from that same individual, August 25th, 2022. To the town's credit, the current town manager, that's me, has been more responsive and forthcoming than the last, and I believe Mr. Malaguti has done a very fair job. June 24th, 2022, from the same individual. Thank you, sir. You have been responsive and pleasant in the past when we have corresponded, and it is greatly appreciated. Many of us really do have the town's best interests at heart. That is what I have to say about 91A this evening, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
With his comments about how much time he's had to unfortunately spend on these 91As, I know obviously it would cost quite a bit more to have our legal team to go through these items, but I would think that our town manager's time is more well spent managing the town and the various duties that he needs to do. Do we want to have a further conversation about this at some point in time, about analyzing how we want to go forward on these items?
We certainly can do that. That's certainly something we can even put in an
I mean,
agenda.
it's about 4 weeks of time that he spent on.
Well, that doesn't really include all the other legal pieces, doesn't include what the
Exactly.
school has spent on it.
Oh, agreed.
I'm getting numbers anywhere ranging from the school between, $10,000 and $25,000 in people's time. There's a lot of money being spent, and at some point, it has to come from somewhere.
Right.
Yeah.